Hey, hello fam. Welcome to another episode of Elevated. I'm your host, the engineer that's elevated. Oh my god, there's so much to discuss this week. So let's get right into it. Oh my god. Terrorism in the USA. Did Governor Whitmer overstep her boundaries? I don't know, because that is a matter of opinion and legislative law. But I will say this. The Supreme Court did shoot down her coronavirus laws, but don't let me tell you, let me show you for myself. So, pulled up a couple of articles today. Just give me one moment. Okay. For Governor Whitmer, actually, okay, yeah. So, I can't really explain it as well as these people because they are the experts, but I'm just going to go ahead and play this for a couple of minutes just to get you all caught up. Okay, so let's go for it.
There are mounting questions now over an alleged plot to overthrow Michigan state government and kidnap the governor. 6 men connected with a right-wing group are charged with attempting to...
Also, I hope CBS and YouTube don't flag my stuff. This is completely for non-for-profit, so...
to carry out an elaborate plan to kidnap Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer for what they call treason. 7 other suspects are charged with providing material support. CBS News Chief Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Begays has that story.
According to an FBI affidavit, the alleged conspirators met in a room under a trapdoor in a home, spent the summer training with firearms and explosives, and tried to recruit 200 men to storm the state capitol building and take hostages, including Governor Whitmer, who they plan to try for treason. The alleged conspirator?
How y'all try her for treason? That's crazy, right? Like, in what court of law? Like, who's the jury? Who's the judge? That's crazy.
Used operational security measures, including communicating by encrypted messaging platforms, and used code words and phrases. Prosecutors say the group eventually decided to kidnap Whitmer at her vacation home, even going so far as to conduct surveillance there. One of the alleged ringleaders, Adam Fox, said that Governor Whitmer has uncontrolled power right now and described the plan as a snatch and grab. Another, Barry Croft, later stated, all good things must come to an end. Governor Whitmer has faced significant pressure from right-wing groups for her refusal to lift strict coronavirus lockdowns.
And this is why I wanted to switch over to actually reading the article so we can see. Okay, now, the Supreme Court actually said her coronavirus laws were unconstitutional. I'm not going to super get into that right now, but I want you to pay attention to the sheriff that I'm going to show you. Now, this sheriff was seen with the same 2 kidnappers during the that demonstration, as they call them, where they had the guns out there at the Capitol building. But I just want you to listen to what he said.
They're trying to kidnap because a lot of people...
Let me start it over.
Thanks, Mara. This morning, we're also learning that 2 of the men charged in the kidnapping plot have ties to a Michigan sheriff.
And Michael and William Nell have been spotted protesting against Governor Whitmer next to Barry County Sheriff Darrell Lee. William Nell was seen on stage with the sheriff at a protest of the governor's stay-at-home order in Grand Rapids in May. The sheriff says he has no regrets about sharing the stage with Nell.
Well, it's just a charge, and they say a plot to kidnap. And you got to remember that, are they trying to kidnap? Because a lot of people are angry with the governor. And
are they trying to kidnap because a lot of people are angry with the governor? This is a sheriff. This is a cop. Remember that whole thing when we said, race soldiers and all these police units, and not just the local, but federal, have been infiltrated by white supremacist extremists, and they were planning on overthrowing the government. Remember we talked about that? And, we were called crazy, we're just race baiting. Remember that?
Okay. And they want her arrested. So are they trying to arrest, or was it a kidnapping?
They want her arrested. Now, this guy's a sheriff. Okay, if anyone has the power to arrest someone, it's the sheriff, right? This is crazy. This is terrorism. This sounds exactly like what Al Qaeda and ISIS would do. So that just brings me to the next question. I mean, is Trump emboldening white supremacists? White supremacist extremists? I don't know, man. But so just to give you some input, Michigan Supreme Court, this is according to clickondetroit.com. Michigan Supreme Court strikes down Governor Whitmer's virus orders. Order remains in effect for at least 21 days. Here's my thing: if you really have a problem with this governor, just vote her out. Like, isn't that what democracy is supposed to be? So I guess it's cool for us to just start kidnapping governors, man. Honestly, it sounds like America is starting to look like Colombia. If you all know anything about the politics in Colombia, you got all these different factions, all these different groups. Anybody can get in Colombia. Ask anybody from Colombia. Anybody can get it in Colombia. Any politician or celebrity or person of note can get it from one of these drug cartels if they so feel like it. And not even just the drug cartels, from any one of these different groups. You got the FARC, you got all these. Man, U.S. is starting to look like Colombia. It's starting to look like, these race-based terrorists, white supremacists, white extremists, whatever you want to call them, they can do whatever they want. And Trump is like, whatever. So that brings me to my next question, next input on this topic. I gotta ask my ADOS fam and my black folk, African Americans, I really gotta ask y'all, does this shit matter to us? I mean, I know it matters to the U.S. at large, but does it matter to us? I mean, we're a part of America, kinda. Right? It just seems like there's two different laws, there's two different constitutions for everybody else and black folk, right? So when I see these guys coming at these governors like that, I'm like, man, or these other politicians. Remember a few years ago where the guy was a Trump supporter, his van was painted all these crazy Trump-looking colors, and he sent bombs to mail bombs to all these different politicians. This is a couple of years ago. This was right around the time around that Stoneman Douglas shooting. And remember, people were just like, it's overblown, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's going to get worse. Eventually, I see them actually getting someone. So that's something we just got to be aware of. This is terrorism. I've seen insurgents of terrorism firsthand. I have firsthand experience in fighting against them. This is terrorism. This is not a militia, as they so say. This is not a militia, a legally mandated militia. This is terrorism, and we got to be careful with this. It is what it is. I think black folk will be black folk regardless. I really do. I really do believe that black folk is gonna be black folk regardless. I think we gonna be black folk if Trump stay elected. We gonna be black folks if Biden gets reelected. I mean, let's keep it a buck, man. Like, we ain't never had protection under the law or any jurisdiction. We still don't. Should ADOS care? Should we care if they kill each other? I honestly believe, because we're already in a race war. I mean, we're already in. The only reason it's not a civil war is because black folks haven't started fighting back yet. Honestly, we really haven't. We're just, please, but that's not going to last too much longer, man. I'm telling you, it's not. It's really not. Eventually, people are going to start laying these people out, and it's going to go back and forth, and then we're going to be in 1865 again. So I honestly, I think it's when they say a civil war, I think the initial thought is it's going to be like black people versus the world, which would be suicide for black folks and for the United States of America because no one would win because it would destroy the United States of America if it's black folks against the world. It really would. The barbarians will be at the gate like, oh, y'all need help? Oh, we got a few missiles that y'all can use. Let's go ahead and Russia. Hey, Amerikansky, Black Amerikansky. Here's a couple of AK-47s you can use that to go against the U.S. Go ahead, go for it. China, come in. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Now you got an insurgency in the U.S. made out of black folks. But right now you have an insurgency made out of white supremacists. But we've always had that. The KKK was doing this exact same thing 150 years ago. Right after the Civil War, we had Reconstruction. And then right after that, the terrorism began for black folks. The moment, see, I'm about to give y'all a little history lesson, okay? Because y'all go learn today. After the Civil War, in which black people in America fought a war to get their freedom. Don't let them run this con game about America freeing ADOS. U.S. never freed America. Oh, God. The U.S. never freed black Americans, the descendants of slaves. We freed ourselves. The reason that Abraham Lincoln and the Union would enlist freed slaves, former slaves, is because they were losing the war. Man, the Union was losing the war against the Confederacy. They don't want you to believe that or know that. The Confederacy had all the money. They were trading with foreign power. They were a terrorist country. It was a terrorist country. What the Confederacy was. It was a country of people who had rebelled against the Constitution of the United States, seceded from the Union, conducted trade with other powers, and went to war against the United States of America. It was a terrorist state, the Confederacy. Don't let them run that bullshit on you about the Southern pride and the lost cause. The lost cause was slavery, owning, raping, murdering, and doing whatever you wanted with my ancestors. That's what their legacy is. And they're trying to convince us that, oh, this terrorism shit just started. No. Terrorism in the U.S. against black folks has been here. Do we not know the story of the what was the church bombing where the KKK members bombed the church, killed 4 little girls? Do we not know about when they bombed? What was the organization of Philadelphia where it was like the first aerial bombardment in the history of the U.S. Obviously, Black Wall Street, Rosewood, all these other black neighborhoods were just razed to the ground by racist white people who could do it just because. It's because, one, they were in league with the police officers. They are now, like the article I just showed you, and 2, the government looked the other way or they actively helped them, which is still what's happening. So this thing with the governor, is it bad? Yes. It shows that the democracy that we really haven't ever had, but we had to at least have the kind of illusion that is crumbling. But is it crumbling for Black America? Or is it crumbling for everybody else and the rest of the U.S. is just now understanding how deep in shit this country really is, which black folks have been saying for ever. So, should ADOS care? That remains to be seen. I just think these people are gonna do whatever they want, regardless of who's president. I think it's time for us to just start paying attention and time for us to start really calling this stuff out and handling it. the reality show host in chief is not going to handle it. But I think what Trump is doing is he's putting a spotlight on what we already know. So, moving on. I don't want to talk too much about politics, but I do want to talk about another topic. Should black TV be dictated by non-black people? Because it has been for the last, well, forever. But now it's not just black TV. Like BT, for example, is owned by Viacom, which is not a majority. It's not anything owned by black people. It's actually owned by white folk, majority white folk, along with like MTV, VH1, all these other media outlet companies. Viacom owns them. So we bring it to the next topic, which is, even though that a lot of us are moving off of TV because, especially my generation, because I mean, first of all, I ain't never shit on, and two, it's obvious that TV is just TV and really movie theaters. It's trash. You see the same shit all the time. When it comes to black folk, you already know they're gonna over sexualize women and they're gonna feminize men, black people. That's what they do. You should know it by now. You see it all the time. They want women to be sluts, the guys to be gay. You know, it is what it is, man. I guess that's what they want to see, but it's all a mind game. So a lot of us don't watch it. So what do? We watch YouTube, and what do a lot of black folks watch? Vlad TV. So my question is, should Vlad TV be canceled by black folks? I'm sorry, because I just want to know, and I want to really sit down and ask: is Vlad a culture vulture? And I'm gonna say easily, fuck yes. That man, this dude is. Vlad has no talent. I hate the fact that I even am talking about him, but it's recently because of the whole situation with, if anyone was paying attention, like the Lord Jamars, the Godfrey's, my songs of the world, like they've been distancing themselves and trying to cancel Vlad. I canceled Vlad years ago when I seen what was the dude's name? The Cheddar Fresh, Money Roll Fresh, whatever the fuck his name is, Bankroll Get It or something, whatever his name was. But when I seen this Negro, this is one of the first times I see his first videos of Vlad I seen. And the people who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. I don't think he has it up there anymore, but he was basically just describing about how he killed this other young brother, this other young rapper. And just the way Vlad framed it, like this kid is sitting next to like a pounder of money, and he's describing killing this other brother. He's describing it. He's kind of like bragging about it a little bit. And it's I don't know. It's just, it was really disturbing video. I thought it was horrible, and yeah, that's why I canceled Vlad. But we also go ask ourselves: should black folks be accountable for going on that bullshit show, channel, whatever, what have you? Man, I think that I don't know. The show it's kind of like Vlad doesn't have any talent, and the only reason you go watch it is because Vlad has black folks on there, and we go watch it because it's black folks who you would never see interviewed in a mainstream like media. So it's like, yeah, that's why people go on there. But we're not going on there for Vlad. We're going on there for the people. So I just think it's complete trash that people believe that black folks believe that they gotta go on Vlad. Like the shit is crazy. Like it's completely. You have the talent. And so, I mean, I'm starting to look at dudes funny for even going on Vlad, but I do understand because Vlad does have some good interviews sometimes, but most time it's just fuck shit. It's just, he's talking about criminal activity specifically in the black community, and that's all he talks about. And he disguises it as like, oh, this is hip hop. Oh, this is hip hop. But it's just nigga shit. But he's profiting on it. And he doesn't, from what he said, he doesn't pay people for it. So what I'd like to do is I like to compare to my man Al Prophet. If anyone's seen Al Prophet's channel, man, it's dope. He talks about crime, but he talks about all crime. He's a white boy, but he talks about all crime. He talks about mafia shit. He talks about drug shit. He talks about gang shit. He talks about importing drugs. He makes these documentaries on YouTube. You should go check out his channel, but he just documents not in a way like Vlad exploits. Al Prophet documents. And you can tell Al Prophet's kind of been around and some stuff too. But Vlad just says, hey, here's fuck shit, and I'm gonna let you speak, and then if the cops want to use it against you, okay, whatever, but you shouldn't came on my show, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Al Prophet is, let me interview people who are in that game, who are out of it now, just to get their story so it could be told. So people can learn from these people who came before, and you can get your story out there. So people learn from your mistakes, man, because a lot of these dudes, these drug dealers back in the day were like mad smart, but you know, part of the game, we already know the game is, you know, either you go to jail, you go get God. So they do, he highlights dudes like Frank Matthews, who needs to be BMF, Detroit Mafia family, like like people you would never hear about. And I think Al Prophet is how white people should treat non-white issues. So that's it for the nigga shit. I can't take too much more of it. Like it's I mean, yeah, I understand, but it wouldn't be an engineering show if we didn't talk about engineering. Which brings me to the final topic of our episode: quantum computing and security. Oh, woo, ah! See, a lot of folks don't even know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about quantum computing, right? And I get it. It's a really upper level engineering, computing, physics concept, but I believe that in the coming days, quantum computing is probably going to be very influential, and especially in regards to computer security. So I wanted to look at this article really quick, and big topic, big field, gonna be opening up a lot of things, gonna be happening with quantum computing. I'm right now in a quantum computing course, and I've written a bunch of stuff on it. So I'm versed, but I'm not an expert. But I mean, honestly, no one really is. So I wanted to talk about the U.S. infrastructure, IT infrastructure, basically, and some of the effects that quantum computing is going to potentially have. So I'm just going to go over this article really quick. Okay, so this is from helpnetsecurity.com. Will quantum computing overwhelm existing security tech in the near future? Okay, so more than half, 54%, cybersecurity professionals have expressed concerns that quantum computing will outpace the development of other security tech, according to the research at Northstar. Okay. Keeping a watchful eye on development, 74% of organizations admitted to paying close attention to despite expressing concerns that other technologies will be overshadowed. 87% of CISOs, CSOs, CTOs, that's Chief Information Security Officers, Chief Security Officers, and Chief Technology Officers for the lingo. And security directors are excited about the potential positive impact of quantum computing. The remaining 13% were cautious and under the impression that the technology will create more harm than good. Woo. It will. It will create more good, I believe, than harm, but the potential for harm is astronomical. Okay, so at the moment we rely on encryption, which is possible to crack in theory, but impossible to crack in practice. Precisely because it would take so long to do so. Understand when they mean by these encryption in these scales. Let's look at this. Over time scales of trillions or even quadrillions of years. The idea is that these encryptions would take so freaking long to break that it's basically pointless to even try to break them, which is where quantum computing comes into. Okay? Now, it's not going to get into the details because the math is going to be too upper level for most people, but I'm just going to read these last few paragraphs. Because I'm going to be honest, if you don't understand linear algebra or or the base of algebra stats in computing and quantum mechanics, you're not going to understand the math. So let's just keep that in mind. Okay, so quantum computing's ability to solve our great scientific technological challenges will also be its ability to disrupt everything we know about computer security. Ultimately, IT experts of every stripe will need to work to rebuild the algorithm strategies and systems that form our approach to cybersecurity at it, whatever his name is. Okay, the report also highlighted a steep 2-year increase on the International Cyber Benchmarks Index, calculated based on changes in cybersecurity landscape, including impact of cyber attacks and changing level of threat. November 2019 saw the highest score yet at 28.2. Okay, that's the security index. In November 2017, the benchmark sat at just 10.1. That means it's raising, demonstrating an 18-point increase over the last couple of years. Okay, during September to October 2019, security professionals ranked system compromise as the greatest threat to their organizations, with DDoS attacks and ransomware following very closely behind. Now, what in the hell does that mean? What does that mean? That means that with the advent of quantum computing, it's going to change a lot of things about your life. I recently spoke about brain chips that, what's that guy's name? The Tesla guy, whatever his name is, that he's developing. That's just one of the things. Quantum computing is what's going to really change the landscape on a lot of things. The U.S. is not prepared at all, and we're not going to be anytime soon unless we start investing in our infrastructure, which it does not look like the Trump administration is planning on doing. I did hear Biden and Kamala Harris administration actually mention this, but that's neither here nor there. It's still, we can't just be studying it. We need to be acting upon it because I'm an engineer, okay, and I think I'm gonna do a episode difference between engineers, physicists, mathematicians, and computer scientists. I think I'm gonna do it just how we all think differently, but understand my goal as an engineer is to take really, really complicated stuff and make them work for everybody else, which some might argue is the hardest STEM field because, I don't have the luxury of living in a world of theories and proofs. If I have something, it needs to work, okay? It can't just be theoretical. I'm an engineer, okay? So, with that being said, man, what quantum computing is so important. I think one of my teachers says he's in love with it. He's a super ultra smart guy, and he's just in love with it. Once you understand the math, it starts to make a lot more sense. But one of the big things is the fields that quantum computing is going to open up. Now, I'm not a big proponent on AI in little small doses here and there. I'm good with, but AI just like, oh, let's let AI govern our life. I'm not a fan of that, but I don't think I'll be able to stop it. But with quantum computing, man, it really does change the landscape because the exponential increase in processing power that we're going to have access to is going to change the game for cybersecurity on both sides, whatever side you fall, whether you're in defense, whether you're in offense. It's going to change the landscape for that. The thing about quantum computing now is practicality. Making it practical is very difficult because it's too powerful and it's really expensive, and most organizations don't need a computer that powerful yet, but they will. The ones I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm looking at the 20, 30, 40, 50 year road. I'm not looking at the 4 or 5 year, 10-year road. I'm looking at quantum computing or whatever is going to be that new computer standard. I'm looking at it as it's gonna once we get these things down, that's it. It's gonna launch us into a whole new field. It's gonna be a lot of fields, a lot of money to be made, and a lot of time. So, oh yeah, don't forget to. I'm going to be. I'm telling myself not to forget, but I'm gonna be dropping my new Unity Basics Get on Code video by Monday, the latest. I've been working on it this whole week, so I've been trying to get these things out because I think they're important and they're kind of fun to do. And because I work at Unity, it gives me a way to teach people for free, and it gives me an outlet because I'm so damn busy, man. Oh my god, I'm so damn busy, especially this week. Oh my god, Jesus Christ! Just this new client, man. It takes a lot. We just basically just made it past midterms, so I'm happy about that shit. I really am. Like I'm just at the point now where I'm just like in the zone, trying to get through school, trying to build this business, satisfy my clients. That I'm just like I'm focused, man. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm like there. So I don't have a lot of time. So I try to get these videos out as best as I can. But it's not easy. It's not easy. So I appreciate when when people make comments, people throw me a like, share, subscribe, please, and enjoy the video. So let's yeah, let's make more videos. So with politics heating up in the USA, expect more surprises, but that's okay because we're less than a month away from the 2020 U.S. general election. It remains to be seen what's going to happen, who's going to win. Y'all know what my stance is on that shit already. You know how I feel. I don't give a fuck about none of these candidates. I'm making sure my shit right. I'm making sure y'all right. I don't give a fuck about none of these candidates. I'm not voting for any of these people because they ain't shit. Fuck out of here. Whoever wins, wins. Hey, we got Trump for another 4. Hey, cool. If we get Biden's Jim Crow Joe's ass, all right, cool, whatever. It don't make a difference. They're both terrible people. The VPs are terrible people. Who they pick, they're gonna be terrible people. Doesn't matter. Nothing's gonna change. Doesn't really matter. Might be a little more quieter under Biden, but other than that, nothing gonna change for ADOS. That's just y'all know how I feel about that shit. But I don't want us to worry about that shit because I want us to build some stuff. I want us to get on code, literally and figuratively. I want us to say, fuck this. It don't matter because we got our businesses and our politics right. So that's, yeah. I'm not worried about it. And neither should you all. You should be worried on accomplishing those goals like I am. But we're not going to let it bother us. We're going to get on code. We're going to keep it moving. So, that's it for this week's episode of Elevated. Thanks for visiting my lab/bedroom. And thanks for supporting me, man. Like, share, subscribe. I'm the engineer that's Elevated. That's it.